Okay, I'm just gonna be straight with you. This one feels personal. When Pi announced the second migration back on Pi Day, we were all so excited, right? We thought, finally, our referral bonuses are hitting the mainnet. Well, that was over a month ago, and for so many of us, it's been radio silence. Nothing. Something is just not right, and I think it's time we really talked about it.
All right, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and look at the numbers. We have 18 million, that's 18 million pioneers who have passed KYC. And of those, only 119,000 have actually completed their second migration. I mean, just look at that gap on the screen. It's a tiny sliver. 18 million people are eligible and waiting, and this is all who have made it through.
And, 119,000 might sound like a big number at first, but when you actually do the math, it's 0.66%, not even 1%. To put it another way, less than 1 out of every 150 verified pioneers has made it through in over a month. This isn't just a slow rollout. This thing has practically ground to a halt. And that really brings us to this huge disconnect between what was promised and what's actually happening. Remember Pi Day? The team announced second migrations were starting, and the whole community just lit up. It felt like we were finally moving forward. But the reality we're living in now, it's very different. I mean, the contrast here is just wild. On the left, you've got the promise. Migrations are live, bonuses are coming, this is a major step. And on the right, you have our reality, a pace that's just glacial, millions of us still stuck waiting for our first migration, and this growing sense of frustration because of the complete lack of communication from the core team.
Here's a way to think about it that really puts the scale of this into perspective. Imagine a concert for 18 million people. You've sold all the tickets. But after 5 weeks, the stadium is still almost completely empty. The handful of people inside would be so confused, and the millions waiting outside, they'd be furious. And that's exactly the feeling in the Pi community right now. And this analogy, this one gets to the heart of another huge frustration. We're hearing about all these amazing new features, smart contracts, ADEX, big presentations at conferences, and that's all great for the future of the project. But for the pioneer who can't even get their first batch of tokens migrated, it really feels like the team is focused on installing gold faucets in the penthouse while our basic plumbing is completely broken.
Okay, now let's get into what is, honestly, it might be the most infuriating part of this whole mess. I'm talking about the tentative KYC trap. This is an issue hitting thousands of us who did everything right, followed all the rules, only to find ourselves totally blocked through no fault of our own. Just follow this journey for a second, because it is absolutely baffling. You pass KYC, you get that beautiful green check mark. Awesome. You complete your first migration, your Pi is on the mainnet. You're all set. Then, one day, with no warning, your status quietly gets flipped back to tentative. And just like that, you are completely cut off from any future migrations. And just so you know, this isn't some rumor or a bug we're guessing about. This is a direct quote from an actual Pi Network moderator confirming it. It's the official policy. Once your status flips to tentative, even if you were green for months, all migrations for you stop. Full stop. You are literally being punished for a change the system made to your account without your knowledge. The unfairness of it all is just staggering. Imagine you pass your driving test, you get your official license, and then one day you're told, sorry, you can't drive anymore. Why? Because the DMV updated its software, and now your perfectly valid license is considered provisional. And no, they can't tell you when you'll be allowed to drive again. It's punishing the user for an internal system change. It's just wrong. But beyond these technical traps, there's a deeper, kind of more emotional issue that's bubbling up. It's about loyalty, it's about fairness, and it's hitting the people who have been here since the very beginning, the original pioneers. This timeline, this is what really stings for a lot of people. We are hearing story after story of pioneers who joined way back in 2019. They've mined for thousands of days, and they are still waiting for their very first migration. At the same time, users who joined just last year are sailing through both their first and second migrations. How does that even happen? This analogy just captures the feeling perfectly. You were the first person in line for this new restaurant. You believed in it before anyone else did. And now you're being told to just be patient as you watch people who just walked in the door get seated, served, and even finish their meal before you. It feels deeply unfair, because it is. And it's not even just about the delay itself, it's the silence. The core team has never once come out and publicly explained why this is happening. Is it a bug? Is it some feature of how they group people?
We don't know. And without an explanation, that feeling of unfairness just curdles into resentment. And resentment is poison for a project that's built on community.
So all of this really leads to what feels like an open letter to the Pi core team. And as a supporter of this project, I want to be really clear. This frustration isn't about how long it's taking. We all know crypto takes time. This frustration is born from vague communication. It's time for some clarity. So here's what pioneers are asking for. It's pretty simple. First, just tell us where we are in line. Give us a queue number, a dashboard, something we can actually see. Second, explain this tentative status. What causes it, and what are the exact steps to fix it? Third, acknowledge the OGs. Please just explain why they're being delayed. And fourth, give us a real timeline. Is it 6 months, a year, 2 years? The community can handle the truth. We just can't handle the silence. At the end of the day, this is the bottom line. The tech is moving forward. We see the smart contracts, the DEXs, the .pi domains, and that is incredible stuff. But for the pioneer who can't even access their own tokens, it feels like this amazing rocket ship is being built and polished, while the very first people who bought tickets are still stuck outside the airport, just trying to get to the check-in desk.
Okay, I really don't want to just end this on a note of total frustration. So let's pivot. Let's talk about what you can actually do right now if you find yourself stuck in this limbo. There are a few steps you can take to make sure that on your end, you're totally ready to go. So here's your checklist. First, go into the app and check your KYC status. If it says tentative, see if there are any liveness checks you can complete. Second, make sure your email and phone number are verified. This is super important. Third, enable two-factor authentication, or 2FA. It's actually mandatory for migration. And finally, gently, politely remind your referral team to get their KYC done, because your bonuses are depending on them. Now, I have to be really clear about this. Completing this checklist is not a magic 6. It doesn't guarantee your migration is going to happen tomorrow. All it means is that you have done everything that is within your power. The rest, fixing the actual system, that's up to the core team.
You know, ultimately, this whole thing really comes down to one word: trust. We believe in the technology, we know the smart contracts are real, we know the upgrades are coming. But technology without community trust is just a bunch of code. And right now, for the first time in a long time for a lot of us, that trust is being seriously tested.
So I want to end by asking you, what is your status? Tell us in the comments. Are you still waiting for your first migration? Are you one of the thousands stuck in that tentative KYC trap? Or hey, maybe you're one of the lucky few who actually completed the second migration. Let us all know. Let's show the true scale of what this community is going through, because we all deserve an answer, not just another request to be patient.